Hello everyone, and welcome to Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, with me, the Doctor, and...
myself, the Bard! We are back, viewership!
And as ever, I will be in the driving seat, but dear Bard will be providing his stellar commentary alongside that. Word to the wise, I've played the first 2 hours of this game on a laptop that couldn't handle it in 2013. The Bard knows nothing of this game, really.
Well, that's not fair. I know some things, but I've never seen a gameplay trailer. Like, this is a fairly new experience for me, so I'm excited.
So with that, let's roll. Oh, I really thought I was going to start it. Oh god, yeah, we've got all this shit to do. Let's do story mode, I guess.
Oh, I hear creepy Sauron whispers.
Yeah.
In the land of Mordor.
Ah, not Kate Blanchett.
Punch off Kate Blanchett.
It's nice that they try to get someone who sounds like her.
On the slopes of Mount
See, that's probably the best thing I like about the Battle for Middle-earth series, is they actually got Ian McKellen and Christopher Lee to do a load of narration for it.
I know that, like, Ian McKellen loves voicing Gandalf. Like, he just does it in everything. Every video game, he's up for it.
But yeah, they basically had a thing where if you're playing as anyone evil, like, the voices telling you what to do are Christopher Lee, and if you're playing any of the good races, then they're...
I've never understood why Tolkien stretches his mythology out over thousands of years. So, like, between Isildur and Aragorn, there's, like, 80 guys, like, something crazy, like 10 generations, right? It's like, why not
somehow
just three?
And somehow absolutely no technological advances changed in that time.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, why not just stretch it over, like, 100 years? A couple of, like, generations, maybe.
Yeah, because, like, the Third Age is, like, from the Battle of the Air, the Last Alliance is, like, thousands of years.
So I understand this is our protagonist. This is Talion?
Yes.
And... Oh, these are his buddies? His family, perhaps?
They certainly were.
Oh, not anymore. Are they going to give him a broken hilted sword? Just, you know, because like, it couldn't be hammered home any harder that this guy is knockoff Aragorn. I mean, it looks pretty so far. The graphics are impressive enough.
Yeah, so this was similar time-ish, I think a little later than Skyrim, so that's a point to compare it to.
Oh, okay. So
but obviously, I love playing like games from about 8 or 9 years ago on a PC. It's brilliant, because it's like, auto-detected your settings. We looked at your GPU and have set every detail to ultra, and it's like, yeah, it's good. My computer is high-end 8 years ago.
Oh, now we're having a fencing match with... not this guy? Dear Heil, this is the bit to like make us empathise with the NPCs right before the game butchers them all.
Well, the game already has butchered them, and it's taken you back pre-butchery. Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Counter.
Now, I know that the combat system in this game is roughly modelled on the Batman Arkham series, which I really enjoy, and which...
I've not played a lot of them. I played some of the first one, and then just... I sat down for a session with it, quite enjoyed it, and then just kind of forgot to ever come back to it.
I thoroughly recommend the Batman Arkham games.
Yeah,
like,
I know. There's no reason why I didn't... There was nothing I disliked about it. There's no reason I didn't go for it, other than it dropped off my radar, and then I had other shit to play. But I've got the whole series, and you know, God, we could even do it on here at some point, because I've got all the Arkham ones.
I would very, very much enjoy that. Oh, we're with orcs now. So, like, hang on, that man was his son.
I think so.
How the hell old is Talion supposed to be? He looks younger than I do. That man is clearly in his 20s. Like his
He
son.
doesn't look old. No, he looks like 40 or something at the moment.
No way. He does.
RT and X for ground execution.
Okay, you execute that orc. If there's one thing Tolkenian heroes love to do, it's execute orcs.
Oh, I can tackle. Oh god, there's gonna be a lot of buttons to remember. I think, yeah, one of the issues I had with this is I didn't play it with a controller when I first played it. I played it with a keyboard and mouse, and it's like, already, this is a lot of different buttons that just threw me. And this was playing at like 3 frames a second on my laptop. It was not an enjoyable experience.
These orcs are pretty big.
And they're very green. They've gone for like more of a 40k orc kind of look. Especially with the Cockney.
We've spoken about this in our previous series. By the way, viewership, if you enjoy Lord of the Rings and you enjoy this channel, go back and watch our Lego Lord of the Rings series where we do deep dives into all things Tolkien.
We do.
We've tried to do some different things with this series, and we'll talk about that as we get through it. But if you go and watch that series, we've had quite an in-depth discussion about the role of race in Lord of the Rings, and you can maybe understand why the developers of this game haven't given the orcs their canonical black skin.
Yeah, true. Grey and green is perhaps a bit more overtly alien.
Yeah, no more need to be said about that. Interestingly, obviously, the Peter Jackson film, which is, pretty much what everyone thinks of when they think of visual representations of Lord of the Rings. Saruman's Urukai do have, black skin, pretty much.
Yeah.
So at least that's true to canon, if a little
we're starting this
uncomfortable.
problem as well already. They said, these aren't orcs, they're uruks. A distinction of which Tolkien was famously incredibly fuzzy.
Yeah, his use of the word orc versus the word goblin is wildly inconsistent.
Oh my god, have I shown you before that image of a French version of, I think it's the advanced D&D, DM's guide, and it's fucking brilliant, because seeing the French, as you possibly know, they're quite big on translating words and Frenchifying them rather than just putting foreign words into French language.
Yeah.
And so this thing was about detailing the orcs and goblins of this word, and it's literally les orcs, spelled O-R-Q-U-E-S, et les gobelins, which is spelled exactly how it sounds, and it's fantastic.
Oh, I'm just imagining all these ridiculously French orcs guarding the Black Gate.
See, they care about what's on the menu.
They absolutely do. they're highly developed Mordorian cuisine.
Right, this game needs to real lock in a time.
So I take it he's dead and he's reliving some of this kind of sort of in and out of the afterlife, is what I'm taking from it thus far.
I'm not going to say anything because I know what is kind of going on here, but we're just stalking this woman with flowers. Oh, we're actually stalking. While in stealth, press RT to kiss your wife. What the fuck?
Ah, good old surprise kissing. That's what I do with all my lovers. They love it. Right up until they call the police.
I'm just picturing you in a kitchen, just crouching down and going stealth mode activated.
So are they on the what will become the Black Gate?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. And nothing has changed.
Now, I do know that the time frame for this game, it takes place between the events of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Now,
And they kind of talked about it very briefly in the opening while we were talking about other stuff. It's this is the classic. The evil seems to be coming back, but everyone who matters is ignoring the warning signs.
Denethor's got a lot to answer for. It's not even Denethor who's the steward right now, is it?
No, it'll be Ecthelion at this point.
Denethor, son of Ecthelion.
We must hide now.
Who was named after Ecthelion the Great, who built the big white tower at Minas Tirith.
That's some good knowledge there.
The White Tower of Ecthelion, the Tower of the Sun, as it used to be called.
we should have left when we had the chance.
So, some Assassin's Creedy elements.
Yeah.
I don't mind that,
Minas Tirith used to be called Minas Anor, the Tower of the Sun.
I did know that, actually.
And Minas Morgul was Minas Ithil, the Tower of the Stars. But then when when that fell to Mordor, they renamed Minas Tirith to Minas Tirith, which is Tower of Guard, to show that they were ever watchful, which was not true, it turned out.
As the events of this game are showing us, no,
narrator, they were
true.
not ever watchful. Oh, I really have to remember to execute people when they're down, because they really don't die unless you execute them.
Do you mean in daily life, or I hope just in this game? If you pass a stricken man in the street, it's damn, forgot to execute that guy.
I'll leave that as an exercise for the reader. Determine that.
Put the sword.
Oh, who's this guy?
He looks human.
He does, like a black Numenorian, maybe? Is that the mouth of Sauron behind him?
It's the something of Sauron.
The Black Hand wants him alive.
Oh, this is cool.
Take her.
Oh, so they're taking captives, and there's spooky servants of Sauron who are also men.
Oh, that was pretty gnarly.
He will lead.
That is gnarly. It's a concept that I've always thought was really, really cool, the notion. I don't know if this is what these guys are, but I assume that is the case. That they are black Numenorians.
They're certainly not among the good guys.
Yeah. But it always really blew my mind that there were some survivors from Numenor, or people who had... men of the race of Numenor who had settled in Middle-earth, but stuck to the worship of Morgoth and Sauron.
Yeah.
And some of their descendants persist right up into the Third Age.
I mean, it makes sense given that, Elendil was basically just one offshoot colonist from Numenor. There would have been other ones who, as you say, at that time, worship of Sauron was pretty widespread as like the relatively normal religion.
Yeah. Also, Elendil makes it to Middle-earth with shockingly few colonists. He has like 5 ships or something like that. And
Yeah.
Isildur has 3. And it's like, there couldn't have been much genetic diversity in the early days of Gondor.
Yeah. Also, that was really grim of like a way to like, execute someone by just slowly just drawing a sword across the neck. I mean, it works, don't get me wrong.
This sounds gnarly.
Elf Lord.
Oh, they try to trap Celebrimbor. Is that the... So, surprise, viewership. Celebrimbor. Do you want to tell us who he is, Doctor? The viewership may not be aware.
I think the game may start to reveal that to us, so I won't hugely say, other than he's a elf from a different time.
This isn't a terrible concept to begin.
No, I think the concept of this is very good. And my judgment of the execution came from a bad place, because I had a laptop that wasn't playing it well, so...
Ranger, what has happened to me?
You're fucking dead, mate.
I'm banished from death.
Oh, he's banning a fate worse than a fate worse
Yeah.
than death.
A curse binds us together within the walls of Ardar. If what you say is true, then how do we break this curse? We find the one who cast it on us. The Black Hand of Sauron.
Oh, so like the hand of Sauron rather than the mouth of Sauron.
Yeah, we fight all of his appendages.
Do we really?
I don't know. I did just come up with that, but I don't want to rule it out.
Okay, so like this mini boss is like
The spleen of Sauron.
the dick of Sauron.
I mean, that was the obvious place that joke was gonna end
Yeah,
up.
like I'm not especially proud of it. Like viewership, please don't leave. We can do
My
better than this.
head was just stuck on don't say balls, don't say balls.
We can do better, viewership. We promise. Please
We
stick
can,
around.
but we won't.
So I guess that's a cool opening.
Yep. We're Vulcan mind melded with a spooky dead elf, and neither of us is allowed to die properly.
It's a good conceit for a game as well, given that like it explains why we can just keep playing as Talion over and over and over.
It's one of the
again, I
interesting
guess.
things this game does. When you die, you respawn, but time passes since you died. So shit happens, and like that's why dying is a bad thing, because basically good things that you've done. Oh, there we go. Good things that you've done are undone while you're dead and waiting to respawn, basically.
I do know that this game was like not.
Hey, look, it's Assassin's Creed.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of orcs down there now.
One of you at Narcos, eh? An easy mistake to fix.
Still copy. Oh, we have a spirit bow now.
We do. LT to enter mage mode, RT to charge a shot, and right in the brain hole. There we go.
You will suffer for what you've done.
Wow, Talion seems like a bit of a murder machine.
Wraith stun. That sounds cool. Oh yeah, that was cool.
So if he's just like a kind of regular Gondorian Ranger, even like let's say an above averagely talented one, how did the Black Gate ever fall when he's like unstoppably powerful?
I mean, he's unstoppably powerful now because he's got a spooky dead elf like grafted to his soul.
Yeah, right, okay, fair enough, I guess.
Well, they're using a lot of pre-rendered cutscenes here. I'm starting to see why this was a 50 gigabyte install. Because these aren't being rendered by the game engine. These are just videos.
Go back to
Hence why our appearance changes. Because we were wearing like a hood and cloak in the actual game, whereas we're wearing a different looking cloak in that.
Oh.
Now we're back into game engine, and our outfit is completely different. Oh, let's interrogate this guy. Let's fucking Guantanamo Bay his ass.
There's quite a lot of like Lord of the Rings that revolves around interrogating orcs who you wouldn't think would want to cooperate.
Yeah, I mean here there's a reason why that works.
I suppose like our elf buddy.
Yeah, we are kind of just drawing truth from their soul here. And that's the big thing about how the Nemesis system and stuff works in this, is basically you can forcibly turn Uruks to your side, and if they're in a position of influence, you gain their influence and whatnot. There's a lot of orc politics that you get into.
for a keg of grog.
Interesting.
Gimu the slaver.
So I'm going to talk about it a lot over this recording, but I recently listened to a 40-minute interview with Tolkien with the BBC, from 1964. And one of the things that they credit him with is just really being able to give characters good names, like Gimyub the Slaver. You don't. I mean, I'm sure Tolkien didn't come up with that, but
But Tolkien will have absolutely set the ground for the rules for coming up with those kind of things.
Absolutely.
His names work because you have to remember that first and foremost, his work was a work of language. The fact that it was also a work of fiction was kind of secondary to that, which shows in how bad of an actual book it is. It was about stories, it was about language, rather like Tolkien was many things. He was not an author, and boy does it show.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about his obsession, and it is an absolute pathological obsession with names. So,
almost like he was a professor of linguistics rather than actually an author.
Yeah, it's
Lord of the Rings was an experiment in creating alien languages, which got badly out of hand. Basically.
Really quite badly out of hand in some places.
Well, they're just orcs rolling around. Yeah, I thought this was the thing. It has a bit of a combo system as well. The combat's a bit somewhere between. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's very Assassin's Creed. Yeah, the combat's somewhere between Batman and it's a little bit kind of like Devil May Cry or like those kind of games. There's kind of button combo, heavy third-person combat.
It looks cool to see Talion just massacre his way through a bunch of these
we get a tech tree. Wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
An experience. I think, right, a lot of the modern Assassin's Creed games do it, but I remember, it's probably not the case, but this is the first game I ever played where it shows you videos of really high-level powers, so you can see what they look like.
I think it's a good feature. Several other games that I've played do this.
Yeah,
it's cool. I think it's a good idea. Letting you see what you're eventually going to be able to do if you keep playing the game.
That's the appeal tech trees hold for me, is being able to see the later levels and be like, that's fucking cool, and actually being able to see it more than just a description. I think is a nice touch. Yeah.
Okay, so our boy Talion is a multi-class ranger wraith or wraith ranger.
Shoot fireballs, cause something to explode. Ride caragors. What's a caragor? That's a caragor, clearly.
What the heck? Oh, it's like a dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
That's quite good, actually. I like that.
That's a bit. Aerial takedowns on an unaware target become lethal. That sounds kind of cool. Countered enemies will be. Ooh, that sounds really handy. Let's go for countered enemies will be knocked backwards and stunned.
I think we definitely make use of the counter mechanic. From what I remember from the Batman games, it's absolutely integral to the combat.
Assassin's Creed was similar, where it's especially in the first Assassin's Creed game, you were basically invincible if you just stood there and just countered at the right time always.
Yeah, I recall that, standing in the first ever Assassin's Creed, surrounded by about 20 guys, and you're literally, come at me.
Well, yeah, it's like someone in it's like watching a main character of a film where it's just you wait for someone to attack, and as soon as they do, you counter them, you knock them down, and then you're like, right, who's next? And you just kind of repeat that.
Baddies in the Assassin's Creed games had a bad case of minion syndrome, which was to say we will attack the protagonist one at a time.
I guess the issue is if they all attack at the same time, they just fucking destroy you. So, is this the actual Black Gate? This probably is, or is this just a fortress? It's interesting.
It looks like the Black Gate to me.
Yeah, it's always interesting that this spooky style is actually. Oh, that's kind of cool. It leaves a spooky outline at our last known position, which is what the orcs are investigating.
Oh.
Slit this guy quickly.
Just how many of these orcs do we think we can take down? Do we want to try and murder all these guys?
Certainly going to try it. I'm not going to try and kill every orc in Mordor, but every orc in Mordor will hear this racket. Oh, this guy's finally aware of us after we've slit every one of his friends.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, dang, son!
Yeah, if we wraith stun them, then you can just go fucking berserk on them.
Do that again. Do it again. Oh, we will be making generous use of this. They basically did roofie an orc and then just chop all of his limbs off. We've done a lot of Lord of the Rings content already, viewership. So, again, if you haven't, please go back and watch all the videos we made on Lego Lord of the Rings. We do a lot of Tolkien chat there.
Yeah.
But because we've already done a lot of Lord of the Rings content. Oh, he's huge. Or is he a regular dude? Oh no, he's just a regular guy. But to prepare for this series, we've done quite an extensive bit of homework.
You certainly have, yeah.
Yeah, this is the most prepared I think I've ever been for anything in my life. I've been less prepared for exams going going into this than I
Yeah, but
currently
frankly,
am.
if you were doing an exam on, you know, the lore of Tolkien and Middle Earth, that would be a very different experience.
Yeah, so one of the things I did to prepare, solely for your viewing pleasure, viewership, and like to make sure I had something to talk to the Doctor about, is that I read the first volume of The History of the Lord of the Rings, which is a giant compendium that analyzes Tolkien's notes and the various drafts and iterations of The Lord of the Rings as he worked on it. It's written and edited by his son Christopher Tolkien, and it gives a fascinating insight into his writing process, but my god, it is difficult to get through.
Yeah, it sounds dense, to say the least.
Yeah, it's not like reading a book. It's a textbook, basically. It's like, oh, see draft A on page such and such, and then consult footnote C on page blah blah blah. It's a. I wouldn't recommend you read this for fun, but it's fascinating to get an insight into Tolkien's process.
Also, I don't know if you were watching that, but this guy was called Blorg the Rhymer, and he just, like, tried to engage us in, like, a fucking rap battle.
I was gonna say, this rap battling, or I don't really want to kill this guy.
Well, maybe we can spare him and turn him to our side. Let's find out.
I doubt it. Is that a thing we could do?
At some point. Don't know if we can do it right away, though. Let's find out.
We can turn orcs to our side.
Yeah.
Just start the free Mordorian brigade.
No, we just kind of melt their brain with our elf bloke.
Oh, I see. The combat looks pretty aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch Talion tear through all these dudes.
Yeah, definitely. Oh. I really thought he was going to rhyme there, but he didn't. He just said.
Did we kill Blorg the Rhymer?
No, he's this dude here. Let's
now, one thing I'm not overly
interrogate him. Oh no, we can't.
Oh.
Oh, he's gonna fucking do me in. Use the left stick to move the cursor to the circle and then press the displayed button to counterattack.
Oh.
Why? There we go. Oh, I have a chance to resist being fucking executed. That's probably for the best.
Yeah. We're just talking about how invincible Talion is, now he's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, it's not looking great for me.
How do you recover health? Can you recover health?
Surely there's some way.
An archer is attacking. Well, that's nice of the game to give us a warning about that.
Yep. Oh, balls, not again. Get up. Oh, no. Oh, not fast enough. Nope, he's going to kill me. Yep.
Oh, we did not last long. Well, thanks for watching, viewership. Have a good night.
So now he's possibly likely to rise among the ranks, yeah, because he fucking killed us. So that puts him into the game. And then while we're dead, various orc political struggles happen.
I really, really like this system.
It's interesting, and it's really like procedurally generated random, so it's different. It really depends on what gameplay decisions you make. It's a nice way of. I hate it when games are like, you, the player, are in power, and then they're like, okay, occasionally you can choose if someone lives or dies, or like choose a way to complete a quest, whereas this is. He wouldn't have been there, and like we changed the story for Bolg the Rhymer because he survived our attack and that kind of stuff. It's very. It generates based on what we do, which is really cool.
This is very dynamic, and I'm kind of into it.
I was super like cutting edge at the time, genuinely.